This video is going to be about, so as you can tell from the title of this video, I became a profitable trader after only about a year of trading. I am currently an FDMO funded trader. And so today in this video, I'm going to be discussing my journey as a trader and what I had to go through in order to become profitable. Now, every trader's dream is obviously to become profitable. However, there's only a very small amount of people that end up becoming profitable. Now, my trading journey had a lot of ups and downs, and I went through a lot, and I also learned a lot throughout my journey. So if you're a new beginner trader, you'll really benefit from watching this video. I'm going to be breaking down everything that I had to go through throughout my trading journey so you don't make the same mistakes as I made. So I hope you gain a lot of insight and a lot of useful information out of this video. With that being said, let's jump right into it. Month number 1 to 3, I ended up joining a Signal group. So my trading journey was a little bit different to most people. Most people, when they start trading, they completely start by scratch on their own, not knowing anything about trading. However, with me, I actually ended up joining a Signal group, and that is how I got introduced to trading. And let's just say that I ended up losing a lot of money. So with this Signal group, I pretty much lost most of my money. You know, they promised that I would make a lot of money. They said I can give 1 out of 5. They basically sold a lifestyle and a gym to me, and I fell for the trap. Now, don't get me wrong, I did make some money at the start, and it was good until I just ended up losing it all, because copy trading, most of the time it doesn't work. And most of the time, these people that promote copy trading, they literally just do it to basically make more money. So yeah, basically I lost a lot of savings, and I also realized it was all a scam and a money grab, and they were all making money off commissions with the broker that they were with. So I just recently found this out, but basically with these copy trading groups, they get commission and money from the broker out of everyone that joins the copy trading group. So when they say things like make sure to deposit $300 or $500 into the broker in order to trade with us, that's basically what the broker is telling them to do in order for them to get their cut and their commission. So basically how it works with these copy trading groups is you'll make a lot of money, okay, 1 day or 2 days. Then these scammers basically tell you to send screenshots of your profits, and then they use these profit screenshots to promote their trading group to basically make more beginner traders fall for the trap. So I was in the Signal group for about 3 months until I realized that, okay, you know what, I'm going to rely on my own skill set to make money in trading and not rely on someone else, because in trading, the only way to truly make money is through your own skill and through your own psychology. You can't be relying on these gurus on the internet, and it was just something that I just really did not want to gamble on. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to start learning how to trade on my own, and I'm going to forget about these guys, because I was just losing a lot of money and I was getting tired of all the excuses, and it just was not something I want to, and it was just something I definitely did not want to put up with anymore. So I decided to just leave, and it was honestly probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, so I'm glad I left. These Signal groups may work for some people, but for me personally, it was a massive scam, and I do not recommend anyone to join these Signal groups because they don't work. So alright, so month number 3 to 6 was the period of time where I tried to learn trading basically. So, you know, I was trying to learn different strategies. I was trying to learn about indicators, price action, psychology, scalping, all of that stuff, candlestick patterns. And let's just say that, long story short, it did not work. Okay, and during this phase of my journey, I was actually like really struggling. Like I just would, like, you know, there was so much information out there on the internet. Like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what strategy to follow. You know, there was all these different trading concepts that was out there on the internet as well, like ICT, SMC, you know, all this crap, and I just did not know what to do. Like there was so much noise on the internet. I tried different systems and nothing was working. Now I saw some wins, but it was mostly inconsistent. Like I was just basically strategy hopping. I was just testing different systems, trying to see what was working, what was not. And you know, I was trading demo accounts, live accounts, trying to figure it out, and nothing was working. Now this is sort of like a make or break for a lot of new traders, like this part of the journey. And let's just say that it was one of the toughest periods of my life. I was failing over and over again. I was trying out different strategies. Nothing was working. I did start learning about risk management and risk reward though during this period. So I did have an understanding around that. But even then again, like without a good strategy, that stuff doesn't matter. So, you know, I was still losing and nothing was working. And the key lesson that I basically learned during this period of time was it is not about what you know, it is about how you execute and manage your trades. So I basically would enter trades and get out of fear of losing. I would always panic when I would enter trades. I'd have anxiety. I wouldn't trust my strategy. I wouldn't trust myself. Everything was a shit show, basically. Like, I did not know what I was doing. And this is a very, very tough period for me, you know. But I'm glad I still stuck through it and kept going, because now, you know, it's paid off. But this period of time was definitely a make or break period for me, and it was a very tough period. As you can see, I was drawing candlestick patterns and all this crap on my journal as well, really trying to figure it out. And yeah, it was definitely a interesting phase. It was a tough phase, but I'm glad I stuck through and got through it in the end. But yeah, so month 6 to 9, this is when I started doing my own trades, and this is when I was losing money and failing. So this was the hardest period of my trading journey. During this time, I honestly felt depressed. I felt lost. I thought about quitting multiple times. I did not know what I was doing. It was a tough period. You know, I lost a lot of money and did not know what I was doing. And I was just entering random trades. You know, I was entering random setups, and I was just getting out of trades really early. As you can tell from that trading screenshot, I clearly lost a lot of trades and did not know what I was doing. And it was a tough period. You know, and I blew multiple live accounts and prop firm accounts, and I had no strategy and was basically gambling. So yeah, during this period of time, I was just gambling my money away, hoping something would work out, and I was just very lost in the process. I thought trading was a scam at this point. I genuinely thought about quitting multiple times. My mental health got really bad. I would isolate myself a lot. Things were very tough during this period of time. You know, and I was relying on candlestick patterns and did not know anything about risk to reward or technical analysis. So I did not know what I wanted to risk to reward was. I did not know anything about technical analysis, you know, such as marking your daily bias or marking your key levels or understanding price action and liquidity. I don't know anything about that. I just basically would just enter random trades and hope it would hit my take profit. That was essentially what I was doing. And at this period of time, I was over trading as well. And yeah, nothing was really working. So I faced trading addiction. And this is something a lot of beginner traders often face when they're first starting off. I definitely had a big problem with overtrading. Like, I was probably entering about 20 to 30 trades a day at this point, hoping to make money. And I soon later realized that less is more in trading, but we'll get into that after this. But this is a very tough period, and this is again a make or break period for a lot of traders. I'm lucky I stuck through and I didn't give up. But this period of time was definitely a hard time for me. And you know, I basically, at this point, I had probably blown about 4 prop firm accounts and a few live accounts. So you know, I was losing a lot of money. I was losing a lot of money at this period of time, and most people would have given up if they were in my shoes, let's just say that much. Month 9 to 12. So this is when I said, you know what, I had enough. I'm not going to muck around anymore. I'm going to actually lock in and take this shit serious. And I did exactly that. So I started back testing and collecting data, and would take screenshots of my winning trades and losing trades. As you can tell from the screenshots on these slides, I would, just collect data and basically journal and do all of that. I started backtesting and forward testing 2 to 3 hours almost every day to understand them more. Now, I literally decided to go part-time with work and just really focus on trading. Like, I literally dropped hours from work just to lock in and focus on trading. I dropped my work hours, and I was just hoping it would pay off, which it did eventually, which I'm happy about. But this period of time, I just basically collected data, learned about technical analysis, and how different markets can affect price action. And then I learned about technical analysis and how different markets can affect price action. So I started learning a lot about technical analysis, such as where the highs and lows are, where the key levels are, where the supply and demand zones are, where price likes to react off. So at this period of time, I was really trying to find a good strategy to work, and I did eventually find a strategy, which is a break and retest strategy, and I found that worked very well for my trading style and worked really well based off my data collection. I was making some money but also losing money. So at this period of time, I was at the break-even stage. So I would make a lot of money, but I would also lose a lot of money, and that was because I had psychological issues and I had another few flaws with my trading edge that I needed to work on. And yeah, I came to a realization that a strategy alone was not enough and I needed better psychology. You know, you can have the tools and the strategy to trade, but if you don't know how to manage your emotions and you don't know how to execute on your strategy, you're simply not going to make money. So that's kind of the realization I came across, that you can have the best strategy, but if you can't work on your psychology and you don't know when to get in and when to get out of your trading positions, you simply will not make money. So that's something I really decided to put more focus on after this phase of my trading journey. And yeah, I did that through basically journaling my trades to track my weaknesses and flaws in my trading. So I would basically go over things such as I would just go over my weaknesses and flaws, such as exceeding my trades too early, or pushing my stop loss to break even too quickly, or closing trades too late, like pushing my stop loss down further or up further. So, you know, there was these little flaws in my trading that was really, you know, eating away at my success in trading. So that's why journaling and making sure you write your emotions down and all of that is so important in trading, because you start to find these patterns that you thought were not existent before. You know, you start to find patterns in your trading that you would not find out if you hadn't journaled, basically. So yeah, I found all these weaknesses and flaws in my trading, and I knew straight away what I needed to work on. Now, my biggest flaw was actually greed. So I would want to trade, but then I'll give it all back straight away because I would want to make more. So greed and impulsive trading was something I really struggled with, and fear as well. So I found all of that out through journaling, which is why I highly recommend that you always journal your trades. So the key lessons out of this that I found out was that trading is 80% emotions and 20% execution. Strategy alone is not enough. This was a hard pill for me to swallow, but it's something that I'm glad I realized early on in my trading journey. It's that your emotions is what's going to dictate whether or not you become a profitable trader and whether or not you actually make it in the end. Because most traders, they're very good at analyzing the charts. They know exactly what they're doing. Most traders probably have a better technical analysis than me. They know more about the markets than me. But the reason why I'm successful and they're not is simply because I understand how to manage my emotions better, and I understand how to follow my plan better, whereas they probably don't know how to do that, you know. So that's why your emotion is going to dictate whether you make it or you don't make it. So make sure you build your discipline and work on your emotions. All right, so that leads me to my next point, and that is psychological conditioning that I did to basically work on building more discipline. Now, what I did to help improve my trading discipline more and to help follow my rules more was I started to build routines around when to trade and in what session to trade, and would do like a pre-session prep. So instead of just getting up in the morning and just jumping straight into a trade without even doing anything at all, I would basically get up in the morning, I would meditate, I'd have a shower, I'd calm my mind, I'd go eat a good meal, and then half an hour before market open, I would mark the charts up, I'd look at key levels where I think price is going to go to next. I would do my basically pre-market open analysis, which is super important, by the way. I recommend every trader does that. And yeah, over time, like, this really helped my trading big time, because before all this, I would just enter a random trade and hope it would take profit. I would just gamble my money away. I would enter 10, 20 trades a day, did not know what I was doing. Whereas now I actually mark up the charts, analyze the charts. I see what price is doing. I see and react. And I just was able to trade so much better, you know. But yeah, so yeah, pre-session prep was definitely important because it definitely goes a long way, and it does help you understand what markets wants to do for the day, and it just helps you understand what's working and what's not, and you're in a better state of mind as well. After that, I basically started identifying emotional triggers such as FOMO, revenge trading, and overtrading. The way I would identify these emotional triggers would be I would have a bit of a thought process when entering these trades. So when I would be in a trade, I have a thought process of what am I feeling right now? Like what am I experiencing? Like, I was just way more self-aware of my emotions, which really helped me hold on to my trades better and help me follow my plan a lot better. I was able to see what areas of weaknesses I had in my trade through writing it down and journaling. Now, the one thing that I really struggled with was fear of missing out, revenge trading, and overtrading. These were three of my emotional triggers that would make me lose money in trading. So there were areas that I made sure that I would fix and work on. There were times where I would like enter a trade, just get stopped out by a few pips, and then it would just go all the way to my take profit. So then I would re-enter, and then I would lose, and then re-enter again, and then I'd lose. And then this would lead to revenge trading and overtrading. So I just found all these little pieces that were basically having a massive impact on my trading. Because in trading, the smallest mistake can turn huge. So you got to make sure that you're always mentally sharp and you're onto it every single day. Because one small mistake can cause you to lose weeks of profits and weeks of progress, and it's happened to me multiple times, and it's a very, very painful thing to experience, and I don't recommend anyone goes through that. So it's important that you find your emotional triggers. So you got to find things that can really, really negatively affect your trading, and you got to work on these things, because if you don't and you just let it be the way it is, then it's going to mess up your trading, and you're going to always keep losing, and you'll just never get out of this cycle of losing. So, you know, finding these emotional triggers was definitely a massive moment for me, and it made a huge difference to my trading. So I started thinking probabilities and was in process and system focused and not money focused, because most of the time, like, traders that are coming into this industry, they're just focused on the outcome, they're focused on the money, they're focused on making money, they're focused on getting the Lambo, they're focused on all this shit, you know, and you want to avoid all that outside noise. Then, because once you get sucked into it, you're just going to rush the journey, and you're just going to try and make money as soon as possible. And you know, in this world, the more you chase, the less you get, okay? Never chase, let it come to you. That's the biggest lesson I can give you guys. And I learned this lesson the hard way. You know, you see these social media influencers promoting trading, saying, oh, look me, I made $10,000 a day, I made $20,000 a day. You know, they're just doing this to sell you a course. They're just doing this to, you know, promote their signals group. They're just trying to sell a lifestyle, because making that sort of money with the accounts they have is just not sustainable at all. So focus on executing your trading system, focus on following your rules every single day instead of worrying about how much money you're going to make for the day, okay? So get that money aspect out of your mind, because this will really mess up your psychology, and it's something that I had to learn the hard way. When I first started trading, I was so focused on making money. I just kept putting money in, keep losing, keep putting money in, keep losing, because I was so desperate to make money. And I was not focused on building a system. I was not focused on becoming a better trader. I was just focused on making money. So this was something that I definitely had to work on, and something that I just had to completely get rid of. So instead of being money focused, you want to be risk to reward focused. And key lesson that I basically learned throughout this phase of my journey, month 12 to 16, was that learning the strategy gets you in the game, but psychology keeps you there. Okay, so strategy alone is not enough. If you want to survive long-term in trading and you want to consistently be profitable every single month or most of the year, it's important that you keep your psychology and your emotions in check every single day that you trade, because that one day where you slip up, the one day you make a mistake can cost you big time, because that's just how trading is. You know, one little mistake can turn massive. So it's really important that you always work on your discipline and you always keep your psychology in check, because in this industry, the smallest mistake can cause severe punishment. Okay, so you got to be very mentally sharp at all times, which is why it's one of the hardest careers in the world. So I started focusing on mental health, clarity, and discipline. So I started focusing on my life outside of trading. So I made sure that in order for my trading to be good, I need to make sure everything else in my life is good. So I have to make sure that I'm going to the gym every day, that I'm eating well, I'm drinking my water, I'm taking care of myself, working on my cognitive discipline, working on my mental health, making sure I would do cognitive therapy, making sure I would take breaks when I need to, just to make sure that I'm always mentally sharp when I'm on the charts. And that leads me to the last phase of my journey, which was becoming profitable. So month 16 to 18 is when I officially started seeing success in trading after so many losses. So I am now a funded FTMO trader. I have a lot of capital to work with now, and I started passing these problem challenges and was more consistent with trading. I found out what my areas of weaknesses were through journaling and data collation, which we just went over before. And I became more system focused and less money focused. And like I said before, this was a big game changer for me, because the moment you become outcome focused, you start putting insane mental pressure on yourself, and this mental pressure can cause you to rush your trades, can cause you to rush the journey. It just makes you feel like you're missing out. And so, yeah, I was focused on execution and performance instead of trying to make money every day. Like, my goal as a trader now is not to make money every day. My goal as a trader now is to make sure I follow my rules, I execute my plans to perfection, and I do what I'm supposed to do as a trader. I'm not focused on the money. I'm not focused on the losses. As long as I follow my rules and do what I need to do for the day, that's the first thing I am worried about. And money comes second, because if you can focus on that first, the money will come. Okay, so I realized that it's about making sure that you follow your rules and you follow your trading plan. And this is the reason why a lot of traders do not end up becoming profitable, and 90% of traders fail, is because they simply don't have enough discipline to follow a simple set of rules. Because as a trader, you don't have a boss to hold you accountable. You're trying to do everything on your own, and trying to hold yourself accountable for mistakes and fucking up and trying to be your own boss is very, very hard, because there's no one there to, punish you for your mistakes. So that's why I keep telling traders that your discipline and your patience is going to be two of the areas that's going to decide whether you're going to make it or you're not going to make it in trading. So if you're a very impatient person and you have no discipline, I don't care how good of a strategy you have, I don't care how much you know about the markets, you're not going to make money and you're going to fail. Okay, so you need to make sure that you work on those two areas, because that's exactly what I did. Before I got into trading, I was very impatient, I was very money hungry, I lacked discipline with my trading. But through journaling and through data collection, I found out that these were big areas of weaknesses with my trading, and I worked on it. I held myself accountable, I knew I was fucking up, and I basically punished myself for it and made sure that I did the work necessary in order to become profitable. And it's paid off now. So yeah, focus on your risk to reward and not the P&L. So example, risk 1% to make 2%. That's all you really need, just a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio trade. And as long as you can keep achieving that, you will pretty much be most of the way there. So yeah, that's basically my trading journey. This video did go on for a lot longer than expected, but I hope you guys took a lot of key lessons from this video, and I hope you guys learned a lot. So that's basically my journey of what I had to go through in order to become a profitable trader. So I hope you guys take my advice and do everything that I've told you to do. I am a funded trader now, so I do have the right to give information to you guys. I only put this up there to prove to you guys I'm not a fraud and I'm not a fake. So yeah, I hope you guys took a lot away from this video, and